Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi Shrali Sadri Vayasali Amri Walu Lugdata Milisani Ifokali Rabbi Zidni Ilma. Hope that everyone is well. Today we are solving one more paper, which is the most recent one, that is May-June 2025, paper 2, that is due to. Paper 2 is Algorithms, Programming and Logic. First of all, you need to know the instructions. The paper duration is 1 hour 45 minutes. You have to answer on the question paper. No additional materials are needed. You have to answer all the questions. Use black or dark blue pen. You are allowed to use AB pencil in order to draw any diagrams or graphs. Write your name, center number, and candidate number in the given boxes. Write your answer to each question in the given space. Do not use an erasable pen or correction fluid. Do not write on any barcodes. Calculators must not be used in this paper, so please refrain from using the calculator. The duration of the paper, as I told you, remember. And besides this, the marks are 75. The number of marks for each question or part question is shown in brackets. The mark will be awarded for using the brand names of software packages or hardware. Okay. First question. Question number 1. Tick one box to complete the description of abstraction. Abstraction is part of the analysis stage of the development life cycle. Abstraction means, now you are given 4 options: testing the solution to the problem, writing a program using program code, defining the subsystems that make up the problem, or removing details from the problem that are not relevant. Yes, which is the right answer? Okay. As you know, the right answer is the last one, D. So this is your answer, correct? If you have written this, that's correct, and you are awarded a mark. Let's move. Question number 2. A fence measuring 2 meters in height and 20 meters in length needs painting. The area of the fence needs to be calculated so that enough paint for the job is purchased. After the task is decomposed, there are 3 component parts: input, process, and output. 3 component parts and 4 descriptions are shown. Draw one line from each component part to the most appropriate relevant description. Not all descriptions will be used. So here you can see we have a few descriptions, as you can see here. Now very quickly do it. Giving you a minute to solve and we will discuss the answer. We have input, process, and output. So which out of these, which one is the input? Input is the height of the fence, the length of the fence, the amount of paint required is 40 square meters. The color of the paint or the area of fence is calculated as 40 square meters. So input is going to be this one. So here you have drawn a line and this will give you 1 mark. Moving to the second one. Which one is your output? Correct. The amount of paint required is 40 square meters. And which is the process? Definitely calculations done. So this is your process, and this option, the color of the paint, is definitely not at all the requirement here, and this is going to be your final answer. 3 marks are awarded. Now question number 3. A rain check is used to validate that the input temperature is in an integer between -100 and 0 inclusive. Now let me underline so that you will remember that this is the value that is allowed, -100 and 0 inclusive, between these. Now suggest suitable, normal, abnormal, extreme, and boundary data. Now this is your suggest suitable, normal, abnormal, extreme, and boundary test data to test if this validation check is working correctly. Now normal test data, you can see 100, -100, and 0. Like if you just remember that 0 is the beginning, and from here 0, -1, -2, -3, in this manner all the values between 0 and -100 are included. So you can write any, like if a student has written minus 20, acceptable. Another student wrote minus 3, that is acceptable. Another one wrote minus 12, that is acceptable. Because if a student has written any integer value between 0 and minus 100 inclusive, that will be treated as a correct answer. But suggestion is the value should not be a 0. Please refrain from writing 0. Fine. Although it is normal, but still we treat it as extreme, correct, Ali? And now abnormal, any value that is going to be not acceptable. So if a student write 150, that's correct. Another student wrote 200, that's correct. Even if a child wrote ZERO, because it's an integer value, so it means it cannot accept a string. That is why it will not be accepted, because it is outside the range and it will be ignored. So be clear, that will also be ignored. Extreme data, as explained you, 0 and minus 100. So if a child wrote 0 as extreme, that's correct. Another child wrote minus 100, so that is also correct. Now the last one, boundary. Again, very simple. Very simple tip that we have learned is 0 and 1, which is definitely 0 will be acceptable and 1 will be rejected. And minus 100 and minus 101. In this case, you can see minus 100 will be acceptable and 0 will be acceptable. But the adjacent boundary data, like if a child wrote minus 100 and minus 101, he is correct. Another child wrote 0 and 1, he is also correct. Because remember, in boundary, one value is accepted and the other value is rejected. So this is your boundary test data. This one or this one. That is why it is written with a like this is given to you, so you can comprehend that any one value will be allowed and you will be scoring your marks. Okay. Now it's easy. Now moving to the next one. State one reason for using a verification check when inputting data. A 1-mark question to check that the value entered has not changed on input. Simple, very simple answer. Now moving to the next part of the question, question number 4B part. 4A we have discussed. 4B. Write the pseudocode for an algorithm to perform a double entry verification check using the following criteria. Now we have been asked to write pseudocode for performing double entry. And by the way, just remember that we have done something similar to this one in our earlier classes also. And the past papers also, a few of the past papers we have done were also dealing with the double entry verification check. So this is not new to any one of us. Now still, this is another one. Let's see how many of us can recall. Input 10 numbers and store them in the array numbers. Fine. Input the same 10 numbers again. As each number is input, compare it with its corresponding number in the array numbers. First case is input 10 numbers and store them in the array. Fine. After that, input the same 10 numbers again. As each number is input, compare it with its corresponding numbers in the array. Like for example, the first value entered is 5. So next time when the loop is executed, so re-entry of the same number should be there. Okay. If the numbers match, move on to the next number. The numbers do not match, display both numbers and ask for the number to be re-entered. Store the re-entered number in the corresponding array location and move on to the next number. When all the numbers have been checked, display a message to say the check has been completed. Now, this is a bit different from what we have done. Agreed, very, very correctly that earlier we had done such questions, but they were a bit different. And here we are talking about the arrays, the storage of the data in an array, and comparing that data with the values that is being input right now. So let's see, what are they expecting us to write? And very first thing is, you do not need to declare any arrays or variables for this algorithm. Be clear, we are not asked, so it means that we will not do it also. So how will I score? There are some marking points that are given for you to comprehend and remember that this is what they expect us to write in the answer. First one is at least one appropriate working loop. Now first inputs of numbers all stored in the array numbers. Now third marking point is correct second input made for each number. Fourth marking point is going to be working selection statement to compare the first and the second inputs one at a time. Now, fifth marking point will be if numbers do not match, appropriate output, including both values, input and a message, requiring re-input. Sixth marking point will be new input stored in the current array location, replacing the original one. Seventh marking point will be final output confirming completion, and that should be outside the loop. So here, just to recall, we have just shown again that you are not asked to enter the to declare the variables, so there's no need at all, and that is why this is just done to for us. Like, this has nothing to do with you, that you will not be definitely doing this in your paper, but this is just for us to remember. This is the beginning of our program. So here you can see the first one is a loop where input is taken 10 times and the input is stored in the array of the array numbers. Index is the variable for index assignment operator 1 to 10, input numbers index. And in this manner, this will give me the first marking point as I have taken the input and stored in the respective locations in the array. Now the next task. The next task is I have to go for the checking, and that is the requirement. Like, my requirement was the verification, so that is why the loop is again started from 1 to 10. Here you can see the same for index equals to 1 to 10. Input check number. So this check number is actually a new variable. So that was a requirement. Input check number, or any variable will do, but that should be depicting its nature. If check number is not equal to numbers index, then output check number and numbers index do not match. Please re-enter the number. And we are asking the person to input the number again. See, if assume that, as I said, I entered 5 and stored it in the first location. 5, this is my array. And when, like, I entered 10 values one by one, fine, perfect. After that, check number was input, and I did not enter in the first location as 5. I entered 7. So 7 is not equal to 5. Check number is 7 and numbers index is 5. So they are not matching. So in this manner, it will be displaying a message for me that 7 and 5 do not match. Please re-enter the number. And I am going to take the input again, and definitely the condition will get over. So in this manner, I will be like, this is a very simple thing, very simple selection statement being used, and we are giving a message to the user that he has not entered the number, please re-enter, and the next index will be taking it back to the for loop. And then once the loop is over, this loop the second time, then output the check has been completed, and I will be able to score 6 out of 6 very easily, very quickly, if I have spent time on understanding the question and answering it accurately. Okay. Now moving to the next question. Question number 5. Now question number 5 is, this pseudocode algorithm should allow 500 names of people and their heights to be entered and stored into 1D arrays. The name of a person and height of that person are in the same index in both the names and the heights arrays. So there are 2 arrays. The first one is by the name names, to store the names of the people, and second one is to store their heights. The algorithm performs as follows. Now you can see at the start, the following data is entered. Name of person, height of person in centimeters. The data is stored in the relevant arrays. The height of the people are totaled. The shortest person is found. At the end, the following is output. Name of shortest person, height of shortest person, average height of all 500 people. Now this is my requirement. Here, what is it? This is the pseudocode given to me, and I am asked to identify the line numbers of 5 errors in the pseudocode and suggest a correction for each error. Now let's see. The first line, declare names array 1:500 of real. declare heights colon array 1 colon 500 of real, declare shortest real, declare total real, declare counter integer, declare index integer, shortest equals to 500, index equals to index is initialized with 0. Then count total is initialized with 100. For counter equals to 1 to 500, input names index, input heights counter, input after the inputs are taken, total equals to counter plus heights of counter. If heights of counter is less than shortest, then shortest assignment operator heights of counter, index equals to counter, and if, and next counter. Outputs are there, and let's see, just spend 2 minutes to find out 5 errors in your pseudocode. Are we able to find? Okay, line number 1. Line number 1, of real, correct. Now line number 2 is correct, line number 3 is correct, all the variables initialized, all the variables declaration are correct. Shortest equals to 500, is that correct? Okay, correct. Shortest is initialized with the highest value, index equals to 0, total assignment operator 100, is it correct? Total is meant to total, so definitely this 100 is wrong. It should be a 0, correct? Very nice. Now let's see. Question is asking me to find out 5 errors. Line number 1, line number 9, line number 10, is it correct? Loop is starting with counter, correct? Input names of index, input heights of counter. Like see, here we are using for loop with counter, like for is using the counter variable. So definitely the input will be taken in through the counter. So that is also a mistake. So actually line number 11 has also got some problem. Then line number 12, input heights is correct. Total equals to total plus, exactly, that's wonderful. So this is what we have actually learned in our classes, that when we talk about totaling, so it means line number 13 also has an error. Line number 14 is correct, like if heights of counter is less than shortest, so then shortest go to heights of counter, and index will hold the counter's value. Next counter, correct. Now output, the shortest height is heights. Is it correct? Output, the shortest person is names of index, and the average height is total divided by 500. So average is definitely total divided by the total number of values. So this line is correct. Talking about the names, the name of the shortest person, and since you can see here, whichever was the location of the shortest person, so his value or his location will be already stored in the variable index. So if we are using index, that's perfectly okay. But this seems to be incorrect completely. It means that line number 20 has an error, and it should be either shortest, since we are trapping the shortest value in the variable shortest, so a student can write shortest here. That's perfectly okay. So let's see how will you answer and how will you score. Line number 1, as we said, declare names arrays, that is correct, of string. This should be the right option to be used. Total equals to 100 is wrong, should be total equals to 0. Similarly, line number 11, as we said, input names of counter. Line number 13 is wrong. It should not be total equals to counter plus heights of counter. It should be total equals to total plus heights of counter. And as we said, line number 20 has an error. It should be either the shortest height is heights is wrong. It should be either the shortest height is shortest, or another student can say the shortest height is height of index. That is also correct, because index is holding the location of the shortest person. So that is why if we take the heights array, and we store and we get the access to the index location. So that is also perfectly okay, but just keep it simple and write shortest. And in this manner, you will be able to figure out five problems and you will be able to answer all correctly, and 5 marks are going to be yours. Now, part B. Write the pseudocode statement that will output the average height rounded to 1 decimal place. So here, this is the simple thing: output round total divided by 500 comma 1. So here we were simply outputting the total, the total divided by 500. That was for the average. So here they want me to display the average height rounded to 1 decimal place. So round function, the use of round function and the right use of the parameter comma 1 will give you 2 marks. So in this manner, 2 marks are going to be yours. Okay. Now part C. Explain how you could change the correct algorithm so that it will also find the height of the tallest person, output the height of the tallest person at the end of the algorithm. Any programming statements must be fully explained. One thing here, they're asking you to explain, and for that you have to be very cautious that your explanation should be accurate. So it's a 4 mark question and they're expecting you to write 4 valid points. What is the first requirement? The way we have declared shortest variable, similarly for finding out the tallest, I'm going to declare a new variable, maybe tallest also, and that will be in the beginning. After that, this is my first point. Like, I should be declaring a variable for storing the tallest person's height also. Another one will be initializing, and this largest or tallest variable will be initialized to the lowest number, and this is another marking point. So if you have mentioned this accurately, like you have initialized the variable properly with 0, that's perfectly okay. That will give you another point. The third point, the use of another if statement, the use of another selection statement, and definitely where will you insert this? Definitely after the inputs are taken. So that will give you the third marking point. If you have mentioned this accurately, that inclusion of a selection statement after input of height to compare it with the current largest value or the current tallest value. After that, if input of height is larger than the current largest value, it should be the new largest value. And in the end, outside the loop, you have to output the value of the largest, of the tallest person. So just remember, if you have mentioned any of these points accurately, and I suggest you in the same order, then 4 marks are yours. Very simple. Already a hint is given to you with respect to the smallest one. So tallest one is not going to be the difficult at all. Now, question number 6. I hope that there is no question, no query till now. Question number 6. This pseudocode is an algorithm, and this is the pseudocode as you can see here. Let's read it. Declare word string, declare v1 integer, declare v2 integer, declare number integer, declare index integer, L1 is char, L2 is char. Declare continue boolean. Input number. For index equals to 1 to number, input number is your here. And after that, you are starting a loop starting from 1 and going on till number. Fine. And inside this loop, what are we doing? Input word. Another input is taken, and that is for a word. And as we talked about, the word is your string. So it will be inputting a string value. Fine. So what is a string? So we are going to input a string value that will be held in the variable word. Continue goes to true. Continue is my boolean variable. v1 equals to 1 and v2 equals to length of word. The use of a string function, length is here, and this will be calculating the length of the variable word and will be storing in v2. While continue equals to true and v1 is less than v2. Do. L1 equals to substring. Now you can see the way we have used length, similarly another string function substring, as we remember, that is there to extract a letter or maybe anything from the, like anywhere in the middle. Like we use left or right for extracting from the left or the right, but substring is used for extracting from the middle of a string. So L1 is going to perform the extraction from the variable word from location V1, one character. V1 means the beginning. As we can see, V1 is 1. And L2 is also a char variable, and that is also going to extract from the variable word, but its location will be starting from V2. Like it will be V2. As we said, V2 will be the length of the variable word. Okay. And again, it will be extracting one letter and will be holding it in variable L2. If L1 is not equal to L2, then continue equals to false, else V1 equals to V1 plus 1 and V2 equals to V2 minus 1. End if. If continue equals to true, then output successful, else output not successful. Now this is your pseudocode. Let's see what the question is. Complete the trace table for the algorithm using the input data. Now here you can see we have three variables to race, car, and treat. And let's move back to the question, what it said. It asked me to input number. So input number means the variable number is going to hold 2. And as we said, just recall, number is input, that is 2. And we are starting the variable index from 1 to number means 1 to 2. Input word. So input word means that what will be stored in word, that will be the first string data, that is race car. Number is holding 2 and index is holding 1. 1 to 2 the loop will iterate, and the variable word will be the variable word is going to store this word race car. Continues true as we said. Now V1 was holding 1 and V2 was holding the length of the string RACECAR, that is 7 characters. That's why you can see V1 and V2 and L1 and L2. These are the two sets of variables. V1 is holding 1 and V2 is holding the length of the word. Fine. And since the length of the word is 7 characters, that's why V2 will hold 7. Now let's move. What was expected of us? I was asked to extract. Now I hope that we are clear till this point. Let's move back. Input taken, continue equals to true. V1 1 and V2 will be length of word, in this case 7. While continue equals to true, condition true, and V1 is less than V2. 1 is less than 7, so both the conditions are true. So it will enter the loop and it will be extracting using substring from the word one value. V1, location V1 one value and location V2 also one value. So let's see what will happen. Now how that we remember, L1 was going to hold substring word V1 comma 1 and L2 will hold substring word V2 comma 1. So V1 is your 1. So it will be extracting the letter R from here and will be storing in L1. As we said, L1 was substring from the word location number V1 comma 1. So location number V1 was 1 and will be extracting 1 comma 1. So it is extracted the letter R, capital R. Then L2 was supposed to perform again the same substring operation, but that was supposed to apply it on V2, means 7. So it will be also extracting this R. So you can see here, L1 is holding R and L2 is holding R. I hope that that is making sense. If L1, any questions? Calculation of V1 and V1 was holding 1 and V2 was holding the length of the string. The length of the string was held in V2. Then we performed the while, we moved to the while loop and the conditions were true. Entered the loop and L1, L2, and L2 were calculated, but actually storing the string values. So substring was applied and L1 was holding R and L2 was also holding R. Okay. Now in this one you can see here, L1 is holding R and L2 is also holding R. Now if L1 is not equal to L2, is the condition true? See, If L1 is not equal to L2, then condition continue goes to false. So this is not the case. So in this case, it moves to the else part, and the V1 will be adding and V2 will be subtracting. So in this manner, V1 will be V1 plus 1 means 1 plus 1 will become 2. As you can see, 1 plus 1 will be 2, and your V2 will be 7 minus 1 will be 6. And in this manner, L2 will hold 6 and L1 will hold 2. Okay, understood? I hope that that makes sense. Yes or no? G, are you clear? Will we move ahead? Now, moving to the next one, as you can see here, it was 1 plus 1, 2, and now it is going to extract the next letter. Now, it will be extracting the next letter from here, which is A, and it will be extracting the next letter from here because of the location number 6, it will be extracting A here. So if A is equal to A is not equal to A, again the condition is false. So definitely what happens, it is now going to move to the next value. It will now be moving to the else case, and it will be V1 equals to V1 plus 1 and V2 will be equal to V2 minus 1. And here you can see, and again the while loop will be true because V1 will still be holding 3 and V2 will still be holding the value of, as you can see, V1 will be holding 3 and V2 will be subtracting. V1 will be adding and V2 will be subtracting. So in this manner, what you get is going to be your as you can see 3 and 5. Understood? Now moving to, it will be extracting C and C. So C and C, again you can see C and C are again meeting the criteria. So C equals to C, definitely. And in this manner, what happens? Now in this case, C is not equal to C. The condition is again false and V1 will be adding 1 and V2 will be subtracting 1. So if we move back, it will be 3 plus 1, 4 and 5 minus 1 will be 4. So it happens what? Now if it moves to the while loop again, so you can see here, while continue was true and V1 less than V2. Now this condition is false. So any condition being false and with the and in between, then definitely it will not enter the loop again. It will move to the if condition and it will be asking, since the continue variable is holding true, so that is why it will be displaying the message successful. And since the index value was supposed to work two times, that's why the index will increase by 1, it will become 2, and the next input of treat will be taken. Now this is treat. Now you can see TREAT, and again variable continue will be true, and here you can see V1 will hold 1 and V2 will hold the whole value, that is 5, the length of the string, and TREAT, that is 5 characters. Now it is going to repeat the same process. Since the variables will be initialized, so now it will be applying the same condition. Now both the conditions are now true. V1 is holding 1 and V2 is holding 5. V1 is less than 5 condition is true. Continue is also true. Both conditions true. So now it enters the loop. L1 will be holding the first letter and L2 will be holding the last letter. So that is why you can see L1 and L2, they both will hold T, the first one and the last one. They both are matching. They are matching. So definitely it moves to the else condition and it is going to increase the value of V1 by 1 and the value of V2 will be decreased by 1. So 1 plus 1 becomes 2 for V1 and 5 minus 1 becomes 4 for V2. And now it will be comparing the second and the fourth element. So now see, let's see. The second and the fourth element. Second element is going to be your R and the fourth element is going to be your, like you can see, R is going to be compared with A. Now, since they are not equal, so that is why the condition is Now you can see here, they're not equal. V1, L1 is not equal to L2. So like R is not equal to A. So that is why it will move to the then condition, to the line after then, and the continue variable will be now holding false. And false means it will be displaying the message not successful. And be clear, the way not successful is written, you have to be very clear that you have to write in the same manner, false, and no check being made, and only the output NOT is in capital and successful is in small. Please be very cautious. You have to use the same like output in the same manner as is present in the question. Any questions? I think it's very simple. Now moving to the part B. State the purpose of the algorithm on page number 6. So if you've observed, this is actually doing what? It is simply finding the words that read the same forward and backward. Like if you just see this one, like for example, we talk about race car. So race car, whether you are moving forward or you are moving backward, RACECAR, or when you're moving forward, they both are exactly same. And a term that we use for this is called palindrome. So if you have identified that basically it is finding out that whether the word is a palindrome or not. So that is the main thing. Finds word that read the same forward and backward. Like if you say madam, so madam is also something similar. It reads backward and forward the same way. Fine. Okay. So if you have just observed the finding the word that read the same forward and backward, that's perfectly okay. But for you, I've written the word that we use like normally, that is called palindrome, and that will give you 1 out of 1. Explain how the algorithms of part C. Explain how the algorithm knows when all the letters in the word have been checked so that it can stop checking. Now, how will it ensure? Now, this is a 3-mark question and they are expecting us to write 3 valid points. Uses an index to mark the start and end of each word. Like here it is using V1 to mark the start of the word and V2 to mark the end of the word. So if a student has written uses an index or uses a variable to mark the beginning and the end of the word, that's perfectly okay. That will give him 1 mark. Marking point 2 is going to be after each check is made, these are moved to the next character. And definitely in the same manner, it will be actually shown as V1 is incremented by 1 and V2 is decremented by 1 after each check is made. So if a child has explained it in using even the variables V1, V2, that's perfectly okay, and that will give him N the mark. When the two indexes match or cross, the whole word has been checked. As you can see, the way we talked about when V1 equals to V2, or V1 becomes bigger than V2, it means the whole word has been checked. Algorithm is going to exit if it's found that two compared letters are not same. So as you observed, it continued till the last word, till the last letter in race car, and the moment it didn't see the matching, so it stopped working. So this is how my program will be ensuring that it is going to know when to stop the checking process and is done with the task. So if you have understood the whole pseudocode and you have written the right thing, only then you will be scoring 3 out of 3. Now question number 7. The flowchart shows an algorithm that is used to input 50 numbers. Each number is stored in the variable value when it is input. The variable is value when it is input. Any number input that is less than or equal to minus 20 or greater than or equal to 50 is rejected and re-input. Any number input that is less than or equal to minus 20. Now, this is something that I'm underlining so you can understand that this is a condition. Less than or equal to minus 20 or greater than or equal to 50. So these are the two conditions, and just for making you understand, I've highlighted so that we can concentrate. And it is rejected and re-input. Important thing is it will not continue to work. It will stop functioning because it is asking us to re-input the data. The accepted numbers are added together as they're entered. Added together. Now, which thing strikes your mind? Okay, fine. Total. As you can see, total variable is being used here. Perfect. Now, total is the variable and that will be used here. And then we have as they are entered, and the total and average of these numbers are output at the end of the algorithm. So this is my question, and I am asked to complete the flowchart. So we can see here, first one is start, count equals to 0, total equals to 0. Count equals to 0 is going to help me in the counting phase. Like for example, I am supposed to input 50 numbers. So definitely it is going to be there to handle the counting phase. And then totaling of the numbers. This is my input. I have validation. I have a check being made using the decision box, another check being made using the decision box. And yes and no are mentioned for me to make it easy for me. And in the both cases, you can see in, by the way, here, no, it's going here. Some task is being done, then moves here. Some task is being done, moves here, and another decision box. And if it's no, then it moves to the input stage. And we have to have two outputs here. As we said, output total and average. So very quickly, I'm giving you 2 minutes to figure out and fill in the boxes very quickly. Okay, now try. Let's see. This is my completed algorithm for you to see that whether our answers are matching or not. Start, count, and total was same. Input value, as you can see, the variable value was mentioned. Input value is value less than or equal to 20 minus 20 or value greater than or equal to 50. This is what I highlighted. If that is no, like was supposed to be rejected. That's why total equals to total plus value and count equals to count plus 1. So that is why if that was the case, then I was supposed to perform the calculation, perform the totaling, and definitely count will be increased by 1. So total equals to total plus value and count, arrow, count plus 1. And we are just, be careful, this will be checked first, and the count value, if it's equal to 50, then we are supposed to stop the program. If it's yes, so we are supposed to output the total and the average. If that is not the case, then we are supposed to re-input the value. So you can see here, is value less than or equal to minus 20, that is what we said, or value is greater than or equal to 50. So simply be very cautious about the use, and please be clear, don't use if here, simply the is. And then is value less than or equal to 50, minus 20, or value greater than or equal to 50? Yes, it is going to ask for a re-input. Otherwise, it moves to the left-hand side, and total is increased by the value, total equals to total plus value, and the count equals to count plus 1. And is count equals to 50? Yes. So it will be outputting total and total upon 50. So there is no need to declare or initialize a variable average, simply output total upon 50, and that will give you all the marks that were there. Okay. Now explain how you would alter the flowchart in 7a so that it will individually store each accepted value as it is entered, and then output all the numbers one after the other outside of the loop that inputs values. You may include program statements or flowchart symbols in your answer, but they must be fully explained. Now, what are they expecting me to write? It's a 4-mark question. Altering the flowcharts that it will individually store each accepted value. Now, now store means that they want the array. Change input values that it saves value into an array. So the only first change that you need to bring in your algorithm is you have to now save the values into an array. Second thing is like definitely using the counter as the index. Outside the first loop, set up a loop that will iterate 50 times. And use an input statement inside the second loop to output the contents of the array using the counter as the index. So this is what, see, inputs will be taken and stored in the array using a loop, and you have to iterate another loop that is going to be like you can see, and then output all the numbers, and then output all the numbers. Means that now you need to iterate again 50 times, and the second loop will be outputting the contents. And here again you can use counter as an index value to display the values one after the other. So in this manner you will be able to score 4 out of 4. Now question number 8. Draw the symbol for an XOR gate and complete the truth table for it. So it's so simple. You were simply supposed to draw the XOR gate, and please be clear, you have to use the lines, inputs. Please be very cautious. And if you really want, you can mention the variables. That will be really great. You can input the A and the B, like let me mention. If you mention AB here, then that will be really very great, that you have mentioned the input values as are mentioned in the truth table also. And that will give you your mark. So please be cautious. If you simply drew the diagram and did not draw the input or the output signals, then you might not score the marks. So please be cautious about your answers. So the examiners will always give you the marks. Truth table. 0, 0 will be a 0, same. 0, 1 opposite a 1. 1, 0 opposite a 1. 1, 1 same a 0. This is what we have learned. So the final outcome for XOR gate will be 0, 1, 1, 0. Now next part. Now part B is complete the logic rules in the following table. Now what are the rules? As you can see, there are 3 inputs, A, B, C. A0 means operator not present, A1 means operator present. B0 means ignition key present, and B1 means ignition key not present. C0 means operator code is correct, and C1 means operator code is incorrect or not correct. A crane is a machine with a long arm used to lift heavy objects. The crane will only move if the operator is present. Operator is present means this is operator present. This is your variable or input A, and that is a 1. Or and. Now, if the operator is present and either the ignition key is present or the operator code is correct. Now, here you can see and then either. It means that this is your condition with an or. You were supposed to do what? The crane moving is represented by x equals to 1. Write the logic expression for the crane moving. Now, crane will move in these situations if the operator is present. So you can see A and. This is what I did. A is for operator and is present means it's a 1, and from here, and now we are using this with an or situation. And now you can see A and now my case is to handle this situation. Ignition key is present. So you can see ignition key present means B is a not or a 0. And the next one is or the operator code is correct. Operator code is correct means it's C0. It means that is also not. So after this or it is B0 and C0. So it means what will I do? I will say not B or not C. So A and not B or not C. That's perfectly a correct logic expression. Okay, now another child could have written it this way. He could have written A and not B and C. That's also correct. Another child could have written A and B and C. they will treat that also as incorrect answer. Or, and the child could have written A and not B, or A and not C. That's also correct. So please be cautious. If a child has written any of these, so his answer will be accepted as a correct answer. But just to make your life very easy, just do it in this manner. A and, from here we derive A and then we put the brackets for the second situation. We found that both the uh, inputs B and C are 0. So that is why I wrote not B or not C. And this will give me 2 out of 2 in a short time. Now let's see the next part 2 of B. Complete the truth table for the crane moving. So this is my statement, and I have to make the table for this, the truth table for this. So again, what are we doing? We are first of all working on not B, as you can see. Then we are working on not C, and then we are working on not B or not C, and later we will work on A and this one. So this is going to be the working fine. So let's see. Not B means what? The signal B is reversed. So it will be 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 0, 0. This is going to be your not B. After that, we got our not C. And not C means the signal C is reversed. So here you can see not C means it will be, as you can see here, not C will be 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and 1, 0. Fine. After that, not B or not C. So you can see here, any one signal or 1, the result is a 1. 1, 1, or 1, 1, 0, a 1, 0, 1, a 1, 0, 0 is a 0, 1, 1 is a 1, 1, 0 is a 1, 0, 1 is a 1, and lastly we have 0, 0 as a 0. So this is my column for not B or not C. So I've got two columns to work on, A and not B or not C. So now we are going to work on the last column, 0 and 1, a 0, 0 and 1. Now this is my column and this is my column, 0 and 1, a 0, 0 and 1, a 0, 0 and 0, a 0, 1 and 1 is going to be a 1, as you can see. 1 and 1 is a 1, as you can see. 1 and 1 is a 1, as you can see. And lastly, we have 1 and 0 is a 0. So my final answer will be, as is mentioned here, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. So this will give me my solid 4 marks. I hope that we all are okay with this. Now, question number 9. A database table, capital city, stores data about capital cities from around the world. Now, the fields are in the description. Identification, a unique identifier. Name, the name of the city. Country, the name of the country in which the city is located. Continent, the name of the continent in which the city is located. Population, the number of people living in the city. Founded, the year the city was founded. Average income of the city's population in dollars, rounded to 2 decimal places. Subway, whether or not the city has an underground railway system. So now I have a few fields and their description is given to me. Complete the table by writing one appropriate field from capital city for each data type. Now, what are the data types? Each field must be different. So Boolean, definitely Boolean is subway. Now, next one is integer. So as you saw, integer can be population, integer can be founded, or integer can be identification, assuming that, see, they didn't mention anything. So a unique identifier means I will assume that that is an integer value also. So in this manner, a child can write any of these values. Like if a child wrote population, he is correct. Another child wrote founded, he will be treated as, his answer will also be treated as correct. Or a child wrote identification, so they will mark this as a correct answer. Real is average income. And text will be, as you can see, the variables name, the name of the city, country, the name of the country, continent, the name of the continent. So they are supposed to be your text data. So this is going to be, or maybe someone can write identification also, but be clear, if the child has written identification as integer, so he can't write this. So maybe assuming that some child thought identification to contain some text data, so his answer will be considered a right answer also, and that is why I've mentioned it here. Part B, complete the SQL statement to list only the name, country, and population of all the cities in capital city from the continent of Asia. Now, this is my requirement. Select is given to me, capital city is given to me, or where is given to me. So I was supposed to write down select, and I was asked to write down only the name, country, and population. So that is why name, comma, country, comma, population from capital city, and the condition was all the cities in the capital city from the continent of Asia. So where continent equals to Asia, semicolon, or a child can simply say Asia within single quotations or double quotations, and his answer will be considered as a correct answer. Now, question number 10 is basically the scenario based question, but this question has been deleted by the CI people and they have excluded this from the answer. So it means that we are done with our summer 22, summer 25, paper 2. Jazakallah khair Kasira for being a part of the learning journey. Hope that you have liked the video, subscribe the channel, and share with your friends and family so they all are going to benefit from it. Take very good care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz. May Allah bless you.